Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Well, good morning, top of the morning in sunny California. You listen to the Express Yourself Hour, and guess what? I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk, 'cause that's how we do it around here, folks. Nothing but straight talk. I see my co-hosts are all in place today. Mr. Keith Swanson, the AI man, you guys, he's here. He's going to be at Black Writers on Tour again, walking that floor. And if anybody catch him and say, I got him, you guys got some money coming. And I think everybody can use a little money about right now. Particularly can help you if no more than in the gas tank. Keith, how you doing this morning?
Yeah, we definitely need gas money, don't we?
Yeah, okay. That's Keith Radio stuff. Ricky, you don't know the joke because you were we talk about that when we get off about that we, okay? We and us is all. Well, Keith, okay, we keep rolling. My other co-host, you guys, is Mr. Ricky Davis. He's the author of the book When the Mustard Seed Get Heaven. It's done got heaven.
Oh man, it's good. It's like an albatross around our neck right now. The mustard seed's so heavy, boy.
How you doing, Ricky?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing wonderful. I'm excited about life. And you know, the more people I see dragging and dooming, the more excited I get. When they come dragging downtrodden, I'm just going to pump up more. Because, you know, people can bring your spirit down. When you see them and you get in the pool with them, I can't swim, so I ain't getting in that pool with you. Not that downward pool. So I'm glad to know you're doing good, you guys. You really want to go out and get Ricky's book. When the Mustard Seed Get Heaven. He's going to be at Black Writers on Tour, you guys. That thing is coming up April 25th. And we're going to have a lot of authors on the floor. I'm going to be there with my 2 new books. Come on, y'all. Hey.
Give us a quick line, Ricky, in these pretty good times. Give us a quick line off the top of the dome from the book, if you got one.
Yes. Well, I will say this. This is something that I say a lot to people who are going through times like this, and it's basically a line that's in my book. It's life is a canvas that brushes us by, painting false images that darken the sky, trying to understand the reasons why the truth is forbidden and covered in a lie.
Oh, that's apropos for what's going on right now.
Wow. Well, you guys, we're going to rock and roll with this show. We have a wonderful guest on here today, and we're going to be talking about the truth about the L.A. gang culture, how a safe haven turned into a community crisis. Now, this is so important for us to talk about, you guys, because I've had so many people to come to me and tell me about how they started. I started this gang. I started that one. I've heard at least 20 people say they started the same gang. I'm sure you guys have heard it too. But you know what? Whoever started, it's just like, say a car was running down the hill. You looked up, you saw a car. Here you and your kids and a crowd of people in this car is coming down the hill like it's going to run into you. Do you care who started, or are you more concerned about who stopped that car? Come on, somebody. You're more concerned about who stopped that car, right? But
Right.
it is so important. We want to demystify, folks. We want to demystify, the gang culture, what it is, what it isn't, and how the truth got lost. So let me tell you, today's conversation may make some parents uncomfortable, but often truth does make people uncomfortable, right? Most parents would be shocked to know that some of the children, Ricky, that's under their roof, that they are feeding every day, that's going to church with them every day, that's singing in the choir, are in the gang. One lady said to me once she was moving to Moreno Valley, and she didn't know her kids was in the gang, but somebody had told me, and we a lot of times the parents are the last to know. Is that right? They're the last to know. So she said, well, I'm moving because I want to get my kids away from the gang. So everybody started laughing and said, well, you the gang in your back seat. You take So, you taking them with you.
With you, yeah. We found it out with the South, okay? When they shipped the kids to the South, they just transported the gang from one side of the country to the next. That's all they did.
Absolutely. Yes. See, we're not talking about this to glorify gangs. We're not saying they're good, but we want to look at somewhere along the way something went terribly wrong, and we really need to look at that, okay? So this show is not about gangs. But it's about the lies that's been told about the gang. I'm going to repeat that. It's not about gang per se, but it's about the lies that's been told. So before we judge, we must understand the streets before we start trying to judge. It's really important because too many people have told a story from the outside, but we have a guest here today that's been looking at it and going to tell it looking out. That's the kind of people. We don't need folks who flying in here, flying over, giving the narrative about black folks in the game. They get on TV, and then what they say become gospel. We're tired of that. The reason the truth has to be told, because whether you know it or not, the kids who've never been a part of a gang, never intend to be, never want to be, they are judged if they live in a certain neighborhood. They are judged as if they are in the gang. And a lot of people is in the gang, not gang banging, but your child is caught up in what perceived with the mist that we see. So let me welcome my guest, Mr. Donald Archie. They call him Sweetback. He's the author of the new book. Oh, you guys, it is so good. This book's Solidifying of Safe Haven. It's a memoir. Wow. He said no more genocide. And I am so proud of his work because he's been here. He's lived it. He knows. And it's time to set the narrative straight. Now, I don't believe anybody, anywhere, can put that narrative down, can lay it down, folks, the way it should be. And the person who's committed his life to give him back. Good morning, Mr. Donna. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning to everyone.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Good. Well, let's start out talking about what made you write this book. What motivated you?
My life.
Okay.
The way things have evolved since 1968, 69. The people that I have lost, the misconception about West Side Crip, and I want to be direct in that. The things that I say are directed to West Side Crips. That's the part of town where myself and my friends grew up. So that's what the book is about. It's about our struggles. It's about awareness. It's about pride, which we all have too much of. But it's mainly, my book is predicated on young people not having to go through the things that I had to go through when I was 15, 16 years old.
Now, Donna, you told me that, see, most people don't have the concept as to why gangs really got started in the first place. When you shared with me how this situation came about with young people trying to protect their community, it wasn't about you can't come on this side of town. And we're going to look later on, because somehow we have to look at how everything that we have started, how the corruptism slipped into it. And we have to face it too. Now, is this true? I hear that many young men, young women feel more safe or more protected by their gang affiliation than they do by their own parent or by their teachers, the people at school. It's like a form of protection. Is that, am I right on path? Is that true with some young men?
Yes, ma'am. That's really how Crips and Bloods evolved so quickly, because certain factions had a purpose to it, and that purpose was to uplift people in your neighborhood. Don't you see somebody down, you uplift them. That in itself is paramount. If someone feels like you care about them, then they're going to come to you more than once with problems, different situations. And that's basically how West Side Crips evolved.
Well, Donald, why is it that so many people want to lay claim to, I started it? I don't know, have you heard that in the street? So many people bragging about what they started, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, but who's going to stop it? What can we do to stop it? Because this new generation, I think they have a whole different perspective about gang culture. And I believe with them hearing it from you and from the other OGs who looking at how it has evolved and the destructiveness that it have taken place, if they understood that, I think it would be different. But I don't see the elderly that's been involved giving back. I mean, I knew a lot of them who had gone on and gotten good jobs working in corporate America and never looking back. But I think they need to let the people, young people now know that it's not all that people acting like it is. That's why I think your book is important.
Well, not being big-headed or anything, but Raymond Washington started Crips. He started it on the east side. I went to school with him. I went to Jacob Augustus Reese with him. He is the originator of the term Crip, C-R-I-P. On the west side, that's my side of town. That's why I hold accountability in terms of, that's why I wrote the book. Raymond's gone, Tookie's gone, a lot of people that were dear to me are gone. And I have a lot of people in prison serving life. And whether they were guilty or not, we all started on this west side with a purpose to protect our neighbors, protect our family, where your mother, your brother, your sister can walk to the store and not be in fear of any type of reprisal. So that in itself, that brings people to you. When people see some concern in you and you're not trying to beat them in, I don't know anything about beating somebody up to get in the original West Side Crips. I see it going now, and that's why I tell people from time to time, do you need somebody to oversee your life? And just like you said, so many of them do. They need somebody to extend some type of relationship with them where they show concern. And that's what my book is about. And I have to do this. I had to write this book. Let me put it like this. I'm on God's time. I used to be on my time, but I'm on God's time now. So it's not a point of hurry up and rush, but it's a point of doing what needs to be done.
Donna, you know, you shared some things with me that I thought were quite interesting. I do remember when black folks didn't live past Vermont Avenue. They were like Central and Broadway, and a lot of people who lived in LA, some of you too young don't remember that, but black folks didn't, when you got past Vermont, oh man. But I was told, and now this I was not aware, that the white gang people here, well, maybe they weren't gang, but they were running and beating up on the young black folks. That's what I'm young black men. So I understand that some of that came with, they had to whip up on them. And after all of that happened, that's when we had that flight, when a lot of white people started moving out. Vermont, Normandy, Western, all these areas, it became a plight. They flight. They move, but I didn't realize that the young people were having some issues with each other. Someone mentioned that to me the other day. Is that true?
Yes. In particular, St. Andrews Park. They had facilities there. They had like 6 different bungalows for arts and crafts, and then they had the bowling there for the elderly people on the grass. And when I came, we all wanted to utilize these things, and we were denied. We were threatened, and we figured, what's the use of these of this stuff being here if we can't use it? And we would be talked down to. And it's okay. I'm not going to sit here and place blame on white people. I'm just going to say that we were a group of young men who wasn't getting ready to stand for it. And respectfully, we asked them to allow us to have some contact with this part of the park and not be alienated. That's what it's for. And eventually, because never would we strike up against any elderly people, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's not how you change. Change comes through communication. And we communicated with them that it was time for them to go out of St. Andrews Park. And just like you say, in 1965, when I came here, that's all you could see, is white people. And it's okay. But when you come to threatening me and threatening our existence and not allowing us to partake into the things that were essentially set for us, then we got a problem.
So, Donna, what you're really saying is that the gangs were never started to be, you can't come on this street. I think how much of that came into play based on economic with the drug war? How much of that, what do you see as the dividing point that turned this thing into destruction? Was it about money? Was it about poverty? What was it really about?
It was about power, systematic power, keeping their foot on our heads, not allowing us to grow, both spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And the emotional side became a problem to us because every time you looked around, we were being talked down to, called boy and things of this nature. And you can't be down here on this side of the playground and this, that, and the other. And we would have different officers threaten the people that they thought had a voice. And at that time, I had a voice, and they didn't appreciate it. It had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with anything but keeping their foot on our heads, keeping us down, because they saw some young men who were great athletes, intelligent, respectful, scruples, morals. Those are the type of things that we had, and they didn't appreciate as young black men.
Well, let me ask you this. What pivot to turn when we begin to turn on each other? Because everyone that I've talked to from a historical standpoint, I consider you a historian dealing with South Central because you have lived it. What was that pivot point? What caused that community, that getting together to protect each other and to protect the neighborhood? What creeped in and caused it not to protect each other, but to turn on each other?
Great question. I appreciate you asking something like that, because I've always said that I never gangbanged a day in my life. I cripped. And people would always say, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? And I say around 1974, 75, gangbanging entered our communities. Different ideology, different people wanting to rise above whatever someone else had done. So that's where all the factions came up. Different groups with they would come up with a new leader, and that's where gang banging, where people start going off on each other. True, when in the beginning when I came up, we did a lot of fighting.
That was fist fighting, though, right?
Fist fighting, yeah. That's, in every culture you're gonna have that, And sometimes some people lose and they run away and they feel like they were alienated when in fact they should have just kept their mouths quiet and sat back and been a part of something that could have went somewhere. But instead they start competing with each other. Like I said, new sets start to rise up. What I mean by new sets is different forms of Crips and Bloods. I remember when I first went to prison, there was maybe 25, 30 different sets. And as I was in prison and started to gather this data for my book, I start hearing of all these new name Crips, new name Bloods, and so forth and so on. And that's why I said I never gangbang, I Crip, because at that point, approximately 74, 75, people started to like you said, just want to hurt each other. Right. You can live 4 or 5 blocks away, and you trying to hurt your neighbor, somebody that you have spent many years going to school with, up and down the streets.
That's why we want to look at and really examine how did we turn from helping each other to now we want to hurt each other. And I know Keith's going to jump in because I think a lot has to do with outside force. I think a lot had to do with drugs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot has to do with economics. I think the fight really, the gunfight, the killer fight came from, I believe, had a lot to do with money, poverty,
yes.
Kids not having, kids wanted more. Someone looking at, especially when you look at our community, particularly nowadays, when you're looking at so many kids that don't have two parents in the home,
mm-hmm.
and looking for protection.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, some of you that's on the line here, I want you to open up and really share your thoughts, because what amazes you'd be surprised, you guys, that the people that in suits. In church, all are in gang. That doesn't mean they're out shooting. It doesn't mean there's a thing called gang affiliation. And we need to look at why is it that our children feel that they need protection from the gang versus from their parents. Can their parents protect them? Can they be protected from at school? If we don't define and look at it and get to the root of this, I'm afraid of what our community is going to look like in the future. And it's not just when we talk about gangs, we always talk about these men, but these girls out here slanging and banging, and nobody ever talk about the havoc that they're causing on the community. So some of you may have some experience or something you want to share, because my feeling is that every black boy, in the inner city should not be treated as a gang member because he's in a certain neighborhood. And I think that's what's happening. I don't know if you feel that way or you see it that way, because the media blows it up. They would make you think every black boy is in a gang, that you're supposed to be afraid of him. You're supposed to fear. So we have to create the narrative and get to the root of this thing. That's why I was excited, Donna, with you really being able to bring this to the light and really talk about it, because a lot of parents don't know that their kids are in gangs, but they are.
Well, you know, you hear a lot of parents say, I'm not my child's friend. I ain't trying to be my child's friend. And times change. Nowadays, you need to be your child's friend. You need to get close to your child. You need to have a liaison, whether it be the little sister or little brother, where somebody can just sit down and say, you know what, Mom, I need to sit down and be able to tell you these things, but I can't tell you these things because you always judge me. Mm-hmm. We need to stop judging our kids, especially if we're really not teaching them. And when I say teaching them, okay, they were born through you. They live in your house. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you there's not many parents that can really tell you anything about their kids, what they're doing when they leave. Well, when they leave home.
It used to be a time when parents had control or insight as to who their children were affiliated with. Mm-hmm. You didn't go to someone's house if you didn't know the parents. Right. So we're going to go back and really look at the thing out of control. How does the school play a part? What they can do? What can the church do? What can the parents do? Because there are too many parents, they don't even know who their kids are hanging out with. So before the show's over, we're going to talk about some of the signs, what you need to look for, because you all would be shocked to know that many people never know, but there are some signs. When people start, a lot of these nicknames, you mm-hmm. never thought about it's their gang name. You just hear them calling somebody a name.
Right.
So, Don, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to open the mic up for somebody that's in the audience may have a comment. And then we're going to move forward. Why are they? Why are they afraid? Why they can't come and tell you when the kids are bothering them at school? Because they feel like you're powerless, that you can't help them.
They feel that you don't care.
Right. They feel like if I tell the teacher, what they going to do?
Yeah.
So can you all understand the dilemma that many of the young mm-hmm. men and women are on? Who do you tell? Who do you go to that this bully is taking your lunch? Mm-hmm. Is making you give him your money? Why can't you tell your parents?
Which is why kids, especially in the neighborhoods, join gangs. It's because you would have a bunch of. I had to walk through those streets, okay, with bullies taking your lunch, or you couldn't even walk to the store without 2 or 3 guys accosting you. So that's how come kids join gangs. I know exactly why they did it.
But Keith, why they never tell their parents when this is happening? Let's talk about that. Why they never come home and tell mom and dad?
Because back then you did, and that's what your parents told you. You need to handle that.
Wow, somebody needs to jump in there. Has anyone else had that experience? I guess parents don't know what to do.
I grew up on Grad 94th and Vermont, and I can tell you exactly how it went down, okay? And that's how come kids join gangs, right? Because that was in 69, 70, okay, right before, right when he's talking about when the Crips got started, right? Okay, and what he's saying is the reason that gang banging did start is because of the drugs. It's because of weed, marijuana, and the other drugs that came out, and they wanted territory, so they started marking territory. Okay, and then it got worse in the 80s when more money came in, and then you put gangs on steroids.
Well, what was it ever at a point when those who were selling drugs? So we just throwing this out here because I know a little bit, I don't know a whole lot, and a lot of other people don't. That's why we throwing it out here. Because, you know, what I heard, we can talk about, we heard in the street, that it really got bad when the drugs really was put here. And then they started deciding, well, if I'm selling drugs over here, you can't come on my side of town selling drugs.
And that's
is that true? Is that it happened?
I mean, Donald's probably a bigger expert than I am, but that's when I noticed it. You know, when all of a sudden when weed came and when angel dust came into the neighborhood, all of a sudden then you see the big rise of sections of gangs and territories and stuff like that. Now Donald could probably disagree because he's an expert. So, but that's when I saw it. And in the '80s, you know, when you can ask Free Ricky Ross, he said the exact same thing. When the big money really came in, okay, because gangs were still fairly small. When I was young, I was a teenager. Okay, they were still fairly small until crack cocaine came in, and then it exploded, and it's never looked back since. I mean, Donald, if I'm wrong, Donald, please jump in, Donald, if I'm wrong. Please jump in.
No. You're right. You're right. In my era, drugs didn't play a major part because people, like you said, they were sniffing glue. Yeah. Using PCP and maybe some pills every now and then. But when it started to evolve is when people start saying, oh, we can make some money.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's when the gang situation evolved. That's when they
start turning and fighting.
Yeah, because they said, well, hey, you know, they had. That's why I always say, don't take too much from our young people. They were just dealt what has been dealt to our people for years and years and years. I'm not blaming nobody for it. I'm just saying that that's the way it happened.
That's the way it happened.
And when the drugs became a part of the streets, that's when territorial things started.
Yes.
When they start getting their sack and we sell more than you or this, that, or the other. Yeah. All of that stuff became a problem.
Yes.
You know.
Okay, and then we didn't introduce that. We didn't bring the drugs, didn't come in through people from the top to our community, but it did filter down. You know, so if we don't deal with this situation, if we don't really take a look at it, and I'm saying that because that's why I fight so hard regarding economic empowerment. Because this will go on. Our kids going to want what they see other people have. We have to improve from an economic standpoint. That's why a lot of parents who they had to know, they had to know that their children was in a gang or they were selling drugs because they didn't have a job. But they were coming home with leather coats. They were selling drugs or they were stealing. They were doing something.
They were doing something.
And people turned their eye to it. And some of these kids start buying things for their mothers, buying stuff for the house. They're feeding their sisters and brothers. I'm saying this that I want our people, our community, to look at what went terribly wrong from a group of young people coming together to protect each other. And then turn into destroying each other. So what we have to look at, what can we do? We have to start at the root of the thing. We have to look at parenting. And when I say parenting, that opens up another sack of worms because most time it is not parents.
Yeah, single.
It's a parent.
Yes.
You see, so since we know the dynamics of this, Donna, is such that many of these young boys and young girls are coming from single family homes, then what must the community do, you guys? How do we play a part? Since we know what's happened, we know what the destruction is. What do we do as a community, as a church, as a people? Do we have any responsibility about what is taking place, and we're just sitting back? As long as we feel like my kid is in college and they doing fine, so you don't look outside your window to see what's going on with the other kids. Wow. The mic is open. The mic is open. anyone have a comment, jump in. I just want to thank you, Donna, for raising this issue, because people going to start, now don't go home looking at the kids' car guy. You in the gang?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know how you do when you have shows. Y'all get to acting ugly. But
You
you
should-
do need to ask.
And,
You do need to ask.
and the
I'm
Latino
telling you.
and Latino gangs are on steroids, especially in Los Angeles and California. Man,
It's about money, too.
It's about money too, because in fact, one of the biggest cartels used to be a gang. Okay, it used to be Venice 13, and then they shipped them down to Central America, and they came back as a cartel. So
Well,
a lot of your cartels started off as gangs.
yeah, I think we need to stop the myth. We need to stop the guessing.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to hear from someone who have lived it, not glorifying
exactly.
it, but to demystify it. That's why Donna's on this show today,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
to demystify it.
He's an OG of the OGs, so yeah.
Right, we
I'm
need to know
I'm the only
truth.
triple left. I'm from day one.
Day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No disrespect.
No.
Well, the media have controlled the myth out there about it. So we need to set the narrative straight. You see, and it's just something. If I'm afraid of the future, if we don't pull this in control, and it does have a lot to do with economic, has a lot to do with poverty, and like you say, they're on steroids. Somebody come in and give your kid a nickel when they make a million.
Mm.
And they're the one that end up in jail, not the person who brought it to the community. They never get in jail.
Can I say something?
Yes, Donna,
please.
Yeah. Okay. I used to work with the school district, and I have a daughter who is a teacher.
Mm.
She's a sub throughout different school districts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you get to South LA, you have, as we know, we have a lot of blacks and Hispanics.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these young kids are out of control. They have a lot of anger. They have a lot of behavior problems.
Mm-hmm.
And that go on in a home, and all that stuff begins at home. A lot of the kids, they don't know how to read, which is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not doing the schoolwork like they're supposed to. It really starts at the home. And then you have a lot of the young kids, they have young parents.
Yeah.
So, and then you have a lot of them who are single parents.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the big issue is. That's where these gangs, they get these kids. That they're easily to be persuaded. A lot of their parents are in gangs. It's just gang infested here in California.
Mm-hmm.
And it really got worse when that crack cocaine came in, and it was like thousands of mice going after one piece of cheese, and
Exactly.
They didn't care if you didn't give them that money. They didn't care what happened. They did some very vicious things to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like they just hate each other. That's how it is.
So are we narrowing it down to an economic piece? I just, maybe I'm the only one seeing it that way, because I'm always talking about economic. I look at the impact because of the economy, economic poverty, many marriages are wrecked. It's just so much happens around that economic piece. That's why it's important that we come together, that we support each other. That's part of the reason that we brought the black business into the Black Writers on Tour conference each year, because we knew the people who come for writers, they need to know who the businesses are. Business people need to read books. Authors need to spend money. Folks, if we don't correct that, I don't know how we're going to slow this train down. How are we going to slow it down, Ricky, if with the young people, with the glorification of the internet and what you see people wearing, what they have, what's in style? Now you need I-10, then you need an I-12. How can we slow this train down, Donna, Ricky? Somebody tell me. Without looking at that economic piece.
Well, some of it has a lot to do with identity. A lot of these kids really don't know who they are. They don't really have a lot of support as far as helping them to gain that identity. And the reason why I say that is because, me having a 16-year-old and talking to his classmates and, teammates, I hear their conversations and they're so focused on other people and other people's lives. And they're so focused on everybody else but themselves. And a lot of it has to do with, like we talked about it before, a lot of that to do with social media. A lot has to do with technology. It's always there in front of you to aspire to be like, or I want this, and if I could just do this, then I don't have to put in the work to do what I'm supposed to do to take care. So all these kids are looking for a quick, fast, easy. They don't want to work. No one is really teaching them the work ethics. And if they are being presented with the work ethics, they're like, oh no, I'm not about to do it. I'm going to do it a different way. I want to do it an easier way. So I just really believe that these kids today really are struggling with not just identity, but lack of examples and lack of people actually putting in the work to help them, because either they're not available, or if they are available, they're not interested.
Well, let me ask you this, because back in the day, when I hear a lot of people identify the young people as they, don't want to work, we came up in a culture where we saw our parents were working. Our fathers were working. Our mother was working. But look at the era that we're in now, where kids are growing up, where they've never seen their father really holding a job or running a business. Let's look at all these social ills that's really impacting that. But let me ask this question, Donna, and this is for you. It says that, now, many of the children join gangs, not because they're bad. So we like to say, oh, they're bad kids, not because they're bad. But it's said that because they feel abandoned, because they feel invisible, and because they feel unsafe. You all, let's deal with that piece. What about that? They feel abandoned. They feel invisible. And they don't feel safe. Let's cook with that for a moment.
I was listening to the lady, I think it was Miss Johnson, who just said something, and all of that is true. But we have to, this is how I look at it. I started West Side Crips in 1969. Mm-hmm. I was 16 years old. Today, I'm 72 years old. I have a good memory about certain things. And what I would like to say here and now is that we have to stop being afraid of our children. Mm-hmm. A lot of parents are afraid of their kids. They're afraid of things that they have done to their child. Just say, for instance, I'm a football player and I got kids, and my career doesn't work. My career doesn't go anywhere. Mm-hmm. And my wife is always nagging me. Oh, you're not playing football no more. You gotta make better money. You better this, better that. Mm-hmm. And the kids see that form of dissension between the parents. Mm-hmm. And when they go to their parents to ask them anything, their parents are so engulfed in what they're going through as parents. But guess what? Your time, I'm not going to say it's over, but it's time for you to sit down, and it's time for you to encourage your kids. It's time for you, when you're walking down the streets in Los Angeles and you see some elderly people coming and you're young, it's time for you to get your butt out the way instead of the elderly people moving out the way. Those are people that have set the foundation for us, whether you know them or not. To love somebody that you don't know is one of the biggest gifts that our Father in heaven can give us. So we have to respect ourselves as parents, and then that filters down to our children. Spending time with them. How can your kid leave the house and 20 minutes later you get a call that they robbed something?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't tried to get into their heads. You don't take them somewhere on their own. You don't ask them, you drink? You smoke weed? Blah, blah, this, blah. Find out what's going on, because if you find out these things, you have a better line of communication. I was asked a question one time. I came down from prison. I was in the LA County Jail, and I went to the chapel with some younger guys because they wanted to see their friends. And I went with them. And the chaplain asked the question. He says, anybody, what makes a man a man? And everybody's looking around, and I had dreadlocks, and he pointed at me. And whenever somebody talks to me, I stand up. And I told him, I said, sir, I'm not going to stand here like I know everything. I really don't know. I really can't say. And he said, thank you for that. And he says, being a man is simple. It's being responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I said all that to say this. When the mother or the father, because I grew up in a single parent dwelling,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother was, she didn't play. If I went out somewhere, I had to be in the house at 12 o'clock, not 1 minute after,
Mm-hmm.
nothing like that. It's respect, and it's the communication, the lack of communication. Just this right here, just what we're doing today, I guarantee you, because I just mailed some of my books off to Tennessee, Missouri, Georgia. So those people are wanting to know. And here we are, right here all together. And when you ask us, what can we do? What can we do? Is stop being afraid of our children.
And start
communicating with them.
Yeah, because if there are people who never go a whole week, have never looked in their children's face or eye. They come in from school, they go into their room, whether they're studying or whatever they're doing. We need to have eye-to-eye contact. People not even sitting at the table eating together. So you have no clue. You can't pick up anything about them. You can't even smell the weed on them because you don't get close to them. They don't get close to you. So we need to do what? Go ahead. Someone had a comment.
Jump in.
Go
I
ahead.
didn't mean to interrupt. This is TJ Lawson. How y'all doing? I
How
appreciate
you doing, TJ? Good to hear from you, man.
Likewise. I was happy to get this link. They're like, TJ, you need to call in. I'm like, oh, okay, Dr. Rosie's doing this. I want to kind of chime in and touch on a few of y'all topics. I appreciate all y'all for the call and the book that's been written about this, because this is a conversation that needed to be talked about, like the brother said. So my story is, I'm 55 years old. I grew up in Compton, and I never joined the gang. They say I was, but my mom moved me into a neighborhood that became a gang neighborhood. I lived 2 doors down from a guy named Putin, and they said he started the Pyrus. And just me knowing him and me being dropped off at school by him, that meant I was a Pyrus, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
You know,
Association brings on assimilation.
Association, yeah.
Yeah, so if parents knew, like literally, if they had the gang map, you know, they would know, okay, I can't move over here because, you know, that's a very active neighborhood. But I want to move forward a little bit to the solutions. You know, when crack came in, I saw Putin, the leader of the Pyrus, he started leaning into the monetary side and left that old stuff alone. So the money changed him, if that makes sense. You know, money changed all of us when we start having money. So the biggest solution that I see that's helping us right now is I was led into the car world, building custom and classic cars and lowriding, as well as a lot of us, you know, and that's which is nothing but the trades. You know, from building engines, welding, body work, auto paint, which all of that stuff was in the high schools, and they realized, wait a minute, this thing is starting to get out of control because all these gentlemen that had the trades, they don't do nothing but sit at home in their garage and paint cars and do body work and do hydraulics. they all making money. So we got to get the government realize we got to get ahead of this thing. And I wanted to say, I'm working on a documentary, by the way, and I'm touching on some of these topics. But I wanted to say that when they started the war on drugs, I just saw a movie called Panther. Okay. The brother, I forget the brother wrote that. Y'all might want to check that out. That's a real serious movie. But the movie Panther, it talked about how they saw us in our community. They decided they wanted to bring drugs into our communities to kind of bust
you see
everything
good.
up.
You're right. Go ahead, TJ. Whatever that good that flows, there's something that's thrown in. That's why they start. I'm not cutting you off. I'm coming back to you. That is why they start busting back in the days. Let's bust these kids.
Right.
Let's break down. They're gonna be so tired by the time they get to the valley. They ain't gonna be able to learn that. They gotta get up before day to catch the bus. Let's make sure that they don't learn how to read because they'll be able to think. So, TJ, you're right on the money. When our kids have something constructive to do, they don't have the time to do. They may do a little bit of it, but, because my kids would always say, Mama kept us so busy, hard for us to get in. Even if I was going to be affiliated, I couldn't be active.
Yeah, that's true.
She had us at play. So it's important.
Yeah.
It is. Have something for them to do. And look what happened, TJ, in our community. Kids can't go to the park. Exactly. They don't have closing libraries. So it's a setup. And we got to change it. Ain't nobody going to change it but us.
That's true.
We need to have our own centers. We waiting on the government to build a center so when kids get out of school, they have some place to go. We didn't even have the galls to make the park safe when it was right in our backyard, Donald.
Yeah. Our identity nowadays is our purpose, and many people don't gravitate to that. If just like years ago when they said rap wouldn't make it, now that's the biggest, one of the biggest things going. Young people, and I'm serious about this because I could have been doing something way different. But I care. I care about my life. I care about your kids' life. I care about your nieces. I care about your nephews, because this is something that I was a part of in the beginning, the conception of it. I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't an ignorant kid. I came from a good family. But what we thought was right in the beginning. Then it took a negative turn.
Yeah.
Because they saw true leaders leading. They wanted to extricate them. They wanted to get them out of the way. So, and I'm sure that from this meeting, we will go further than this. I'm trying to get on Jimmy Kimmel right now. Because it needs to be said, instead of all of these people that have made it in life, black, white, brown, or indifferent. Everybody comes to LA to play for the Lakers and the Clippers. They get these big contracts, but they don't come down into the impoverished neighborhoods and say, what can I do to help? I know what's going on here. What can I do to help? I've said this to LeBron and Anthony Davis many years ago. You guys come here for these big contracts, but you don't come down here in the hoods, as y'all call it. And if you do come down here, you feel like you got to pay somebody to come down here. We got some good people down here. And they need, professional athletes need to gravitate to these young kids that are looking at them on television and saying, I want to be like this person. I want to be like that person, only because they have money. What about your personal ethics and scruples and morals? How do you feel about the person who has nothing?
And
that's what identity and precepts will change. People will learn, like, you know what? I got a voice. And I don't care what nobody say. I'm going to gravitate to that. I'm going to see what that brings me.
Right.
That's where change comes.
Absolutely. And I want to say to those, you don't have to have a nickel to jump in here and help turn this community around.
That's right.
We all can do something. We can't wait because they so far removed from us that they don't see. Only thing they see is what they see on TV. They're not walking these streets. We need people like TJ, people like you, Donna, people like myself from putting out there, Keith, Jamal. We need the people with boots on the ground to raise the awareness because these parents are hurting. They're tired of burying their children. They're tired of putting up money for attorneys. They're tired of their kids having to plea bargain. They're tired of it. So we're right here next to them, Donna. So we are going to have to put boots on the ground because we see it, we smell them, we hear them. We've got to do it. That's why this awareness is so important. And teacher is right. If they get into skills, they would be so into to making cars, building cars, selling cars. They won't have time to do because this drug thing. I don't know if y'all know this. It's gonna be running low. They ain't gonna be able to get it like they've been getting. Y'all do know that, right? Because it legal, especially the weed. Because now they legalize, it's gonna make a whole big difference. So we gotta find a new way of living.
I want to bring up a topic.
Go ahead.
I like to bring up a topic of solutions, and we need the community's help because our biggest problem is the lack of communication. It's like the tradesmen are not communicating. The college, the higher education is not communicating with the tradesmen.
Yeah,
you know, there's kind of like that divide. They look down on us. But right now, as a tradesman, you know, people are building custom cars in our community, custom cars, custom motorcycles, and shipping them around the world, pulling in the same amount of money that these football players and basketball players are making. But it's so bad. It's so good. It's so big that the government, Newsom, decided he's going to ban classic cars altogether. In California only, because that's the capital, the classic car restoration capital of the world is in Los Angeles, Compton, and West California. There's so many black and brown men that are living 7-figure lives restoring cars, shipping them around the world. And here, like I went back to Centennial High, to Compton School District and became an advisor to the Compton School District. And we raised a bunch of money to restore the Dominguez High School Auto Shop and Centennial High School Auto Shop, where I graduated from.
Very good.
They went I bought all kind of athletes, celebrities, all type of people up there, professional car builders that manufacture car parts and own patents, et cetera, to inspire the youth. But I took them on all kind of field trips, but they canceled the class after a couple of years. It was working too well.
Anybody ever heard of Teen Post?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I remember Teen Post, all those other things that kids were doing. TJ, just what you said about what Governor Newsom want to ban. When we hear this, people like you, this is what this show is about and other show. When the public get the news, then they need to be in his face. But we let these things slide. We got to be right now, tonight, you guys, I'm having a town hall meeting at 1430 West Manchester at Power Love Ministry. And this is the thing we're talking about. I'm asking people, don't wait till November to start looking at who you're going to vote for. I'm asking everybody, Donna, to find out who your representatives are. Go to myrepresentative.com and I'm looking up all the bills that's been voted on in this state, and I want to know what each candidate, how they voted.
Exactly.
So, TJ, this is important. This needs to be on somebody's desk. To let something like this go through, and we don't do nothing about it?
Yeah, because we don't know about it. Because we don't know about it.
And then,
because we don't know about it.
On another note,
but let me go. We're coming close to a close. Make your last statement. I'm going to have my author to close out. And he's doing a book signing here at Express Yourself Books this Saturday from 2 to 4. He's going to be here signing his book, and he's going to be doing a little lecture. You can get the book here at the store, Express Yourself Bookstore, 1425 West Manchester Avenue, just west of Norman. That's 1425 West Manchester Avenue. Mr. Donald Archie will do his book signing. In fact, this is really his like unveiling because this is his first book signing, and he's doing it right here in the hood.
We need a documentary about his early life. Okay.
They got. I look at some of these documentaries that they have, and I don't put nobody down. They're doing what they do.
Yeah.
But that's why I had to write this book, because the truth needs to be told. Yeah. And not to go too far, I would like to leave our audience with this. And this is to poor people, prisoners, slaves, and disenfranchised everywhere. Mm-hmm. Through faith and theory put into practice, we as people can bend the most oppressive circumstances to our will to make the impossible possible. We need to leave jealousy alone and get with each other and work with each other. That's our biggest downfall. Somebody does something, everybody gets jealous about it. Don't worry about that. It's about the kids. If we're grown, it's about the kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I got one coming out. I got a doc coming out shortly. It's called Working with the Hands, the documentary.com. Okay. Working with the Hands, the documentary.com. I'm starting to do screenings shortly. Y'all look it up. It's an automotive documentary.
Okay, very
good. Thank you all. Appreciate y'all.
Text that to me and let me know when it's coming out.
Yeah.
And,
and also email it to Dr. Rosie so she can actually spread it around so we can actually.
Absolutely, especially what you just said about the classic car thing. We need to. These are things we need to work on. But you guys, I want to close to say that there is hope. It's not lost. Conversation, dialogue, what we're having today, you'd be surprised what's going to move through the community just from these conversations, just from Donna Archie's book, opening up a floodgate. How often have you heard any show or anybody talking about these issues? It's time to bring it to the forefront. Just like you said, Donna, it's about the next generation. It's about the kids that's been lied about. It's about the children that the media have had our own people afraid of your own children, afraid to walk down the street, afraid of them. This can happen no longer. The silence have to be broken. These are our children. I'm going to say that again. These are our children.
That's right.
So they're to be saved. We're going to have to do it. There's nobody coming for them. We're going to have to come and get them. We have to stop the lies, find the truth, and find a way to work with it, because there is, what did Jesse Jackson say? Let's keep hope alive, folks. Mm-hmm. Because these kids want to do better. They don't want to be in this pit of hell that they're in. They're waiting for us to come and rescue them. They're looking up to us. So talk to your kid. Ask them if they're in gangs, if they have gang affiliation. Sit down and talk to them about it. Mm-hmm. Let them know they can be honest with you. They don't have to hide. When we learn that we can face truth, we can always correct things if we face the truth. So it's time to face it so you can stop the younger baby that's coming up feeling like, I got to do what my big brother did.
That's right.
A lot of these kids are in gang because their dad was in gang. Am I right?
Yes.
They want to be like their daddy. Some of them selling drugs because that's how daddy made a living. We got to find a better way to show them.
There is a better way.
There is a new path, and let's take it. Donna, I thank you so much for opening yourself up and doing this for us. And we're going to keep this dialogue going. You all tell everybody you know, all roads Saturday from 2 to 4 need to lead to 1425 West Manchester Avenue. Express Yourself Books. You guys, Ricky, Keith, my co-host, Cassandra, she got on again today, Barbara Smith, and a lot of these people are going to see a Black Writers on Tour, you guys. It's going down with that book, and you'll have an opportunity to support Black business so they can be strong enough to hire some of these young people, get them off the street. We can't keep having these one-shop business with a voicemail on and doors are closed, and I'll be right back. No, we got to have strong business where you can at least hire your kids and some of the other, kids in the community. So we're going to have to step it up. And you know what? We can do it. Donna, again.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much, Ricky. Thank you, Keith, everybody on. You guys have a great day and keep the conversation going. And when you get home, start looking up under the mattress. I shouldn't tell y'all that. Start looking in the closet. Start going through coat pockets. As the old folks say, start rambling. You might be surprised. You don't have to say nothing about it. See, when you find something, don't come out jumping on the kids. You don't even have to let them know. You'll find a way to get around to it. You would be surprised what you would find out about your own child if you do just a little bit of snooping. Okay, you guys, go snoop. Look in the closet. Look in the trunk of their car. Just look. And most of all, have a sit-down conversation. Look them eyeball to eyeball. The eyes tell a lot. Donna, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Here's the book. You want to get the book by Donna Archie.
Thank you.
Solidifying a Safe Haven. God bless you guys.
God bless.
God bless you too.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Have a great day.